Hello, USTA family. I wish you all a happy 2021, a year of optimism. The purpose of this short video is to introduce you to the Board of Directors of the United States Tennis Association for the next 2 years. It may not be until October that we can meet in person in Phoenix for the continuation of our 2021 meeting. I hope that the next few moments will allow you to get to know the individual board members before then. I am honored and I'm humbled to serve as president and chairman of the board of directors of this fantastic organization that has shaped my life as a person, as a tennis player, and as a tennis volunteer for over 23 years, from the grassroots to now serving as your president and chairman. I so deeply appreciate your confidence in me, and you have my commitment that I will work as hard as I can to justify that confidence and always act in the best interest of tennis and our mission. I'm particularly excited to work with an exceptional board of directors, a board comprised of leaders who are passionate about our mission and possess the competencies for success. And now let's hear from our three elite athletes who add so much to our board.
Well, I realized becoming a professional tennis player would be pretty boring. If all I can say, I won some tournaments or I got some trophies or some money in the bank. So for me, when I reached number one in the world, I realized my true purpose was truly to pay it forward. I was running the Kerry Leeds Tennis Center for the past 3.5 years, and it's the poorest congressional district in America. And I feel very fortunate to pay my skill of tennis forward, respect, teamwork, camaraderie, discipline, having goals. That's what I love to teach. Here's what I bring to the board. I'm a professional tennis player. I'm a businesswoman. I'm a mother. And I'm somebody that loves this country and that wants to serve people and help people.
I'm the youngest of four, and my brother was a great player in his own right. He's 8 years older than me. So my sisters and I would follow him around at tournaments and on the practice court. And so that instigated the first love of tennis for me. I would be considered as a veteran touring pro. I've been playing for 13 years. My highest ranking was 50 in the world in singles and number 3 in doubles. I now work for WTA Charities, which then motivated me to start my own nonprofit called Serving Up Hope. And we provide tennis programs for underprivileged children around the world. So I think that the unique qualities I have for the USTA board is my experience on the tour to give some insight on player development. My experience in nonprofit can also be of use as well.
I love tennis. I've had a love affair with it since I was 3 years old. It's so revealing about who you are, what you have to work on, but it's humbling, it's exciting. I didn't realize it was going to lead me to pro tennis, but it did. Junior Tennis Champion Center, and that's where I'm the general manager of player development, really spreading the game. It's really important to me as a person to give back, and now it's kind of come full circle where I'm here able to help create the vision and grow the game of tennis for the whole country.
And now, let's hear from our directors at large.
My son got me involved in tennis. When he was in middle school, his gym teacher came to me and said, your son could be a special tennis player if he focused on it. Some of the best memories I have are going to tennis tournaments with my son. It was a bonding experience for us. I'm just proud to have the opportunity to give other people the chance to have the same experiences. The USTA is making people's lives better through tennis. And tennis is an opportunity for people to get together and build community. And that's what's so great about what we do.
College campus. I was 12, I think, at the time. I got to the tennis court and was standing around watching, and someone asked me if I wanted to try it. And I, of course, immediately said yes, as opposed to, no, I got to go home and ask my parents, right? And I described him, and my dad goes, oh, that's Vidal. And he proceeded to teach me tennis. What excites me and inspires me about the sport is all the different points of entry. It touches so many people from the grassroots all the way to the professional level. And you can come into it in whatever way you feel best. It is a sport that should be bigger. The potential excites me. I worked for Equitable in their sports promotion area, running the Equitable Family Tennis Challenge. From there, went to Major League Baseball, and then found my way back into tennis with the USTA, coming in to head up marketing for the community tennis division. Where I sit today, with that experience cycling through, how can I help bring that back and hopefully have a positive impact? I'm excited to be back a part of the team.
I started playing tennis because my older brother was trying to decide what sport he could play where he could be a 3-year letterman at his high school. His choices came down to tennis and wrestling. And I can't thank him enough for choosing tennis. I wound up playing on the pro circuit for 2 years and literally went from the French Open one day to business school the next. Was out of tennis for almost probably 40 years. I was reached out to see if I would consider joining the board. I do think tennis needs to evolve in a variety of ways, and I think having a different perspective can help it do that. Tennis is more than just a game. It's really a way to build character and build your personality. And so I think that the more people can play the game will benefit from it, just as I did.
In high school, my best friend was a longtime tennis player and threw me a tennis racket one summer and said, start playing with me. And I did, and I fell in love with it then and played for my high school team and played for about the next 10 years after that. Being on the board is really the perfect blend for me at this point, having worked in professional sports for 25 years, having seen the valuable community assets as they can be, and now having a passion for tennis in the USTA, to be able to bring all that together is something I'm very excited about.
I come from a tennis family. My parents actually met on the public courts in Houston. They were both accomplished players. And then later in my adult life, my mother and I started playing mother-daughter, went on to win, I think it's 19 national titles. I was hired as the director of tennis for the City of Houston Parks and Recreation Department. As an NJTL director, I get to see tennis at the very beginning, meaning free programs for youth who have never played before at the neighborhood parks. Joining the USTA board is super exciting for me. I do believe I'm probably the only board of director that offices in a trailer. I do bring a perspective that I think is valuable, especially when it comes to public parks, diversity and inclusion, NJTL, and it's going to be a great 2 years.
I started playing tennis when I was 10 years old. And grew up in Northern California, and it was a great way that I could do things with my family. I was ranked in Northern California in the 14s, the 16s, and the 18s. I also played high school tennis, and then I played for a year and a half at college. Back in 2013, Pat Galbraith asked me if I would join the investment committee of the USTA, and also help with the financing around the strategic transformation of the National Tennis Center. 2018, they asked me if I would be interested in running for the board. I have a skill set that's a little bit different than many of the other board members, and I see us as being a complementary body. All of us bring different skills and acumen to the table, and so being able to help in the ways that I can is quite fulfilling.
And now it is my pleasure to introduce the officers of the United States Tennis Association.
My family got me into the game. I started playing in the local parks and rec at a really young age, and slowly, it just became more and more serious. I started playing more and more tournaments, both at the local level. I went to the NCAAs to play college tennis, and then was really fortunate to succeed at the pro level. And so about 5 or 6 years after retiring, served on the Mid-Atlantic board, served on the national board to help improve the game and sort of share my experiences. But what I really think the USTA is all about is impacting kids, getting people into the game and seeing the benefits of the sport play out, both not only in terms of from a fitness and a physical standpoint, but what it does for you outside of the sport.
You can teach every life lesson through the game. My kids would come home and say, yeah, I really don't know what's going on and I can't figure something out. And I would say, well, remember that match when you were 40 love down and what did you do? And they would say, oh, well, I had to figure it out. I had to find where my weakness was. I was like, yeah, that's what you do now. So we speak in tennis analogies. What people will tell you is my passion is for ensuring that kids in underrepresented and marginalized communities get access to this game. And it's because it can be a vehicle for education. How do we get this game to the community so that we can change lives?
Our borough built a park about a mile from my parents' home with 2 tennis courts and a basketball court. And it was the height of the tennis boom in the 1970s. And I just fell in love with the sport. It started out as a recreational pursuit for me. It then became an educational pursuit with my undergrad and graduate work. It became a vocation, including 25 years with the USTA at the sectional and national staff. And then my post-USTA career, it became an avocational pursuit with my Community Tennis Association and regional and national volunteer work. Now is our opportunity to really focus on the mission. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to do so.
I fell in love with tennis at a very young age. I was lucky to come from a tennis family of 7 children. We all played, and in fact, in 1974, we were the USTA Tennis Family of the Year. But I would say a really cool part of my involvement with the USTA was when I was an independent contractor. I was the chief medical officer for the US Open for 16 years. And so I did the volunteer work and continue to do that because I just think it's really important to give back to the sport I love so much, but also got a real insight into working with the professional players and really seeing the US Open evolve. Tennis, hands down, is the healthiest sport out there. We have the data to prove that. So I hope to bring to the board a way of helping to make tennis like the most relevant sport in our country, or to make it America's sport. And that's really something special.
And finally, our immediate past president, Patrick Galbraith.
I started playing tennis probably when I was about 5 or 6. Started playing tournaments when I was 8 years old. I had won the NCAAs my junior year, and we got a wild card into the US Open and played the defending world champions in the first round of the US Open and played them pretty tough. And that's when I realized, well, maybe I can play with these guys. What inspires me is from helping people and changing people's lives to the competitive side and everything in between. It's been an honor to be a USTA player, a USTA Davis Cup member, a USTA champion, a USTA president, but I'm very honored to be on the board for the 21-22 term under Mike McNulty. It's going to be a great 2 years. Mike's full of energy, and Mike, you're going to do a great job.
2021 and 2022 will continue to be challenging with residuals from the pandemic, but also exciting with so many new people trying our safe sport. I am confident that this board of directors and staff and you, our tennis family, our greatest asset, will meet this challenge and others, and we will grow this wonderful game of tennis. Now that you've had an opportunity to see and hear from the entire board of directors, I suggest that you go to USTA.com and read the extensive bio on each. On behalf of the board of directors, I look forward to an exciting 2 years to guide the vision of the USTA, to promote, to develop, and to grow tennis.